Oh, no. Yeah, there we go. That probably will help a little bit, won't it? I hope that helps. Whew. All right. Let's see. Hopefully that does it now. There we go. Now we got a voice. Okay. I haven't used the full 90 setup in quite a while. I have improved a bunch of things all over the place, and this one has been left behind. Whew. All right. This is like the very first days of the full 90 when I had no idea what I was doing. Now I kind of know what I'm doing, but I haven't got in here and used this in a long time. All right. So what was I saying? I was saying that I did a bunch of work over in, let's see, too loud music. I can bring the music down. I can bring it down farther. I can see that's better. What was that? I was doing a bunch of work with Fire Giant stuff, and I cleared my NuGet cache, and I've been having problems getting it all back, and so I've been seeing some blips inside WiX, so we're going to see if that is still a problem. And I'm going to have to sort that out. Let's see. Hopefully everything's kind of working out better. Is that better now? Hopefully. Let's see if I hear this. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Sounds about right. Okay. All right. A little upbeat music tonight because it's late here. It's even later for those of you guys out there. All right. What are we doing? We're in WiX 5. We're in WiX 5. It's pretty exciting. I haven't really done much in WiX 5 at all yet myself, coding-wise. And so what are we doing? We're implementing a thing that we were discussing in the WiX online meetings, an idea that came about when Bob was talking about the features that he's working on with the default feature. It's the default features. I don't know the good name. It's the whole thing where you have to type less stuff into WiX and we'll automatically give you the things that you probably want anyway. And through that conversation, I came to realize that there were parts of WiX that are already behaving that way, namely around like all the actions. And some of the directories, the standard directories work that way too. And I suddenly realized that all the things he was talking about were very similar to those. And there is an underlying system here that if we allowed you, if we had WiX had a standard library, but a standard library that you could then override at the certain times, that we would be able to take all these special cases of actions and directories and make it a more generic purpose that we could default things like the feature and more. And I was like, oh, this is such a clean way to solve a problem. So the feature that I've kind of distilled out of this are what we call virtual symbols. And you can think of virtual symbols as like virtual methods on a class, where you can have a class that can implement a method, and then you can, in a inherited class, you can override that method so that the child class will hide the parent method completely and everything works. Because normally if you have a parent class and a child class and you create the same method, you'll get errors saying, hey, this symbol, the method identifier, is duplicated. Well, in WiX, the same thing happens. If you have two symbols that are both defined, except in very special cases, WiX will tell you, hey, those things collide, and that's a bad thing, that's an error, which is a very nice thing to tell you, hey, you've accidentally duplicated this identifier in two places. But maybe we want you to be able to override it, and that's where virtual symbols, the ability to say, hey, this symbol, if you don't have one, here's the definition for it, but if you want to override it, you can. All right, so we're basically taking more functionality from standard procedural languages and bringing more of them into WiX because they operate naturally. In WiX 4, we already brought access modifiers, so you could have things that are private to your fragment, private to your file, so that symbols can only be seen within the file. Symbols can only be seen in the fragment, the file, and then within a WiX library, which is very nice for library writers. And then, of course, global, public, which you could be seen across your entire compilation. Most people don't think about these things. These are deep, low-level library writer features, and people like those of us that work on WiX can use these features inside it to provide a better experience. So we're going to try to create virtual symbols, and this is a spike tonight. I don't know how far we'll get. I'm not really worried about how far we get. I want to just see if some things can work. And so on that front, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I think the way to do to declare a symbol as virtual, which means it can be overridden, is to use the access modifiers. So in C#, you can mark something overridable, same as virtual. You can mark it virtual, and you can also then make it public, private, protected, all those things. I don't think that makes a lot of sense for us. If you're going to make something virtual, that means it's meant to be overridden. Having something virtual within your own library is not really a concept that's helpful to us. So I think if we say, if you can make a symbol virtual, that means it's going to be virtual for the entire compilation space, the global space. Which means that we should be able to just add the virtual keyword at the same place where you can add those other modifiers to say that something can be virtual. So it'd be virtual globally. So I think that's the first thing I want to try to do, to see how that looks. The second thing, and this is the thing that Bob and I discussed for a while, I don't think it's going to be required, but I think we're going to see how it works out, is the ability to also declare that a symbol is an override. So you want to say, hey, this symbol overrides a virtual symbol, so you can declare that it's supposed to be overriding, even if we don't force it. We're going to play with it a little bit, and then when we get to the examples, I think it'll make a little more sense why we may or may not want override. But that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to wire this thing in. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time, get the data model hooked up so we can put this in, teach the compiler to parse that attribute, or that access modifier, not attribute, access modifier. And then we have to go deep in the linker to actually handle the case when symbols are virtual and then overridden, that the right thing happens. So that's what we're going to do. To do that, I'm just going to start with code here at the root of WiX. And really, this is where I was at. Okay. As you can see, I was commenting out all the tests in the WiX command because these were failing due to not being able to find some things in NuGet because I cleared out my cache and they were not downloading them from the internet again, which is kind of strange. I'm still a little perturbed about that, but we might trip across those errors and we'll see how far we fix them. But I'm going to bring the test back for now. And is this really everything, or is this just... Let's see, where am I? Where's my little floaty thing? Thank you. Yep, okay. Source. All right, source, API, WiX, toolset.data. And here's our symbols, all the symbols that we have in WiX. That's cool. And here's our access modifier. Access modifier. All right, so yeah, we probably could get rid of the obsolete. You know what, I'm not gonna take that. I was gonna take the obsoletes, but that's just gonna make things more confused. In the middle of WiX 4, the names for the access modifiers changed. I started by picking names that matched C#. So there's public, which generally makes sense everywhere. Internal, which mapped to library scope. And how did you know that internal library scope was the same thing? You just had to know. I knew, but nobody else did. And then I used the word protected to mean that its scope was to a WiX file, which, all right, how did you know that? I don't know. I did, because the next one down. Public, internal, protected, and then private was private to a section or a fragment. So these are all obsolete now, and the values now are global, library, file, and section. So we probably could get rid of these other ones. And it was just internal programming that I didn't want to go remove them because it was late in WiX 4 that we changed them. But we're going to create a new one down here. We're going to create another access modifier, or two actually. I'm going to create one called virtual. And if I capitalize it, I don't think, I wonder if C# cares. Yep, I thought so. The keyword. All right. It indicates the identifier. Identifiers. The identifiers. Wow, identifiers. Wow, grammar is can be overridden by another symbol. Period. Okay. Across all sections. Nah, just another symbol. Period. And I'm going to put override in here too. Overridden. Override. That's the word. Override. If I get it red, that means I can't use it. That means I want it. Indicates identifier overrides a virtual symbol. All right. I think that's all I need in the data model, which is kind of cool. I say that. Let me go ahead and, yeah, let's see. Where are the 10 references to it? As string. Okay, so when we are doing that, okay, cool. Aha, I do need this. This is when we are serializing the data. We have as string and as access modifier. Oh, it's right here in the same file. All right, cool. And you can see we have this switch case because we had the old names that I wanted to preserve from WiX 4. All right, so virtual will not have a alias. Virtual. And override. Override. Okay, cool. And then we do the exact same thing the other way around. All right. Virtual. Virtual. And override. Override. Okay. I think these are used in the saving of things. Oh yeah, as string is not helpful. As access modifier. Let's see where this is used. I just want to. I'm expecting this is where things are being serialized. Yeah, right. There's the deserialize inside the identifier, right? So the identifier, the ID of a symbol, is how you specify access modifier, and then the ID. And we can also create IDs from a series of strings. All right, and also numbers as well. There's a couple of cases where the identifier for a symbol is a number. I think like the error symbol, the ID is a number. All right, it gets turned into a string in the end, but it's just easier to initialize as a number. All right, so then we can serialize these and deserialize these into our object system. Like when it gets stored in WiX libs and things like that, we need to make sure these guys get squished down. So that's all good. All good, all good. So we create the access value as that, right? And the default value is global if you don't specify one. All right, I think that's all I need for that to work. Now let's go over and see on this spike. I just want to kind of go jump over test, please. And serialize fixture. Okay, intermediate section identifier. Cool, cool. Let's see. So we're can save and load intermediate. Okay, I like that. We have a global test component that we just shove in there, save it, and then we pull it back out. We can update the intermediate. We can save and load with custom definitions, multiple definitions, and things like that. All right. So we didn't do much with the different kinds of access modifiers up here. Do I want to add another test here? Okay, so we had to create a test folder, directory ref. I see we're just verifying that this component is the same as the one we shoved in there. All right, I'm going to create another thing here. Let's see how helpful this is. Section add symbol. I think I can do a directory symbol. And I want to make this one virtual just to see. Virtual dir. Okay. And I have to remember the directory symbol here real quick. And directory symbol, parent directory ref, I'll leave as null, name, and I think that's all I need. Yeah, all right. Actually, we'll do parent directory ref. I'll set it to, why not? Yeah, turn that up is fine. And then name. Test folder. Hey, actually, how about we decide we'll define test folder for this thing. Nothing. It says test folder. There we go. Just need to make that symbol. Okay. Single section symbols. There is a single section symbols. Then I want to do symbols of type component, please. Component symbol. Will you let me rename this? Component symbol, please. Ah, that worked. All right, good. Good job, VS Code. Wasn't sure if I was going to trust you or not. which you did great. Okay, so we will now take this and call it a directory symbol. Don't think I need the component symbol cast anymore because I'm doing off type. Jump over here, grab the directory symbol, and validate that this is correct. Virtual string.empty for parent directory ref. Yep. And test folder, just space. Test folder for directory symbol name. Okay, found the key. All right, I think that's enough to kind of see if that worked. Let's go ahead and just YOLO it from the command line. First, API.command, please. This should build it for me and run the tests. We'll see if I got the test right off the bat. Okay, so I think this is the easy part. We're essentially saying, hey, there's now an access modifier called virtual in the world. I know, fairly exciting, right? I want to have this build. Oh, I forgot there's MBA native. Oh, well, it's fine. Forgot all the MBA stuff was mixed in with the API stuff. I wonder if that changes with my work on Burn later. All right, cool. So our test succeeded. I think I'm good with the data. So now that I have the symbols, the ability to mark symbols as virtual and override, I think I go over to WiX now, and we implement it because this is the only thing we need to do in data. Okay, this is the other thing, is that when we're discussing this feature, as I was just kind of thinking about it, I was like, this is a very, very small change to data, and data is like the WiX toolset.data assembly is the root data model of everything. So it's a very important assembly that when you change it, it can have far-reaching impact all over the place. And that's why when I thought about this system here, I was like, oh, this is actually really good, I think, because it's a very nice, clean change inside data that should just slot right in. All right, let's see if my it worked out the way I thought it would. So let's now go look at how it looks in the core compiler. Oh, I'm just in the middle of everything here. Let's just close all these windows and we'll start from scratch, because I don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work and everything. All right, let Visual Studio kind of catch up for a second here. Where am I going to start? I need to start probably down the parse helper, because that is where, yeah, I'll put my Solution Explorer so you guys can see it. I'll put it over here. Is that right? Touch. There we go. Okay. Slide over the way. I don't normally put it over here. Normally I have it on a separate monitor, but probably be useful for you guys to see when I'm poking around at different parts of the project. Okay, so I have nCrunch running over on my other window, and it's very upset about various things, which is disappointing, because of NUnit being busted on my machine, or NUnit, NuGet being busted on my machine. Okay, so let's go into the core. Let's go into the. I want to go into the test, but I'm not going to be able to get very far with that. Let's see, reload. So actually, let's see. Can I build this output? Okay, that looks good. That's building. I'm over here looking at nCrunch, trying to see if I can get it to be happy, and it's just not very happy right now. All right, we'll have to do it the hard way. Let's see. Okay, into the core, WiX toolset.core, and compile. I'm pretty sure. No. Oh. All right, everything's in the root then. Compiler being broken into, yeah, this sort of bits and pieces. I want to look at the parse helper, I think. Parse helper, please. Parser helper. Oh, come on. There you go. Ah, just do it. Took a second to get there. Okay. parse helper. Parse helper has a thing that parses identifiers, or if it doesn't, it has the call to the thing that parses it. Might be in common. It's been a while since I've had to look at this. Yeah, so there it is. That's what I was thinking. That's generate identifier, create that. So create identifier with these pieces, create identifier for platform, all these different ways of creating identifiers. I want attribute, what is it? Attribute, all right. Let's just click the compiler because we're gonna see one pretty fast. ID. Of course, I picked the root one, which doesn't have any. Package has plenty. ID. Please show me. There you go. Get attribute identifier. Parse helper, get attribute identifier. Can I search for get? All right, here we go. Okay, this is the parser for identifiers. And identifiers normally are just a string. Most of you, if you've been using it, is like, yeah, it's just a string, no big deal. But in our case now, we want to be able to parse values and hook them up. Aha, yes. And then there's global, public, and package as the name. I don't remember. Package, I think, is the name that you can generally see. So everything just kind of weird because bundle is the same thing. I think global is probably the one I use most often, but package is a pseudonym for it. Public, again, being left over from before. There's internal and library, file protected, private, fragment, and section. And fragment, I think, is the one that most people use because that's what they see it. Internally, we call it their sections. To us, everything's just a section, but most people see them as fragment. Okay, so we need to add another one of these. And we just need one to parse virtual. Please. Virtual. I mean, this could be it, honestly, in the compiler, because we're just parsing the first part identifier. So what does this look like? I'm going to have to figure out how to get my tests up at some point. But that's internal test. Where's my test? WiX toolset core. Nope. No, not that one. Actually, maybe parsing versions. Yeah, that's a lot about parsing versions and funky things like that. I don't really want to deal with. I want to look at the core integration. And I don't know, do we have one for access modifiers? We just have so many tests. It's like, where in here? Okay, let me open this, search in here for, what should I look for? Fragment, probably. Fragment space in this project, current project, find all. Does that find me anything? No, that found the, I want to match case. And what else might we have done? Public? Find all. Oh, that's good to find me all the code. Oh, no, this works. Do we not have any access modifier tests in here? That's what I'm looking for. I would like to add to the access modifier tests. But we have so many tests. MSI fixture was. How about I search for access modifier? Access modifier find all. Let's see how many times we have it. Nothing. All right. Doesn't look like we have any tests for access modifiers, which is interesting. Probably should. Let's go ahead and create one thing. This will probably work. Now I'm looking for a test that we could kind of piggyback on. Yeah, this is WiX runner with a build command in it. And then validate that our symbols are correct. That's what I want. I want something like this test. All right, cool. We're gonna copy directory fixture, drop it in. Access modifier fixture. Cool. Access modifier fixture, copy of directory. So access modifier fixture. All right, cool. Can compile virtual symbol. Boom. Cool. Cool. All right. Drop the rest of these. Good. Cool. Just a couple tests. Do I get too many curly braces? Curly braces look okay. All right. So can compile virtual symbol test data. we're going to build all of that. I've been slowly removing these so that we let path.combine the strings instead of doing the at and the whack in the middle of it. It's just easier. They will take care of putting that. So they'll take all those inputs and squish them together into a single path. Less ats and whacks and tabs and other kinds of funky things being trying to escape things. All right, test data. I need to create a test data, and I'm going to create a new folder in here. As we do, access modifier. Okay, and I need a package, so I guess I need a package. Let's look at the directory one that we did, that I stole from directory. Wow, so much test and empty. Yeah, that was just a fragment. Okay, I guess we could. Oh, I see. Is this building to a WiX? No, it's building to an MSI. Oh, it's using the product, the standard product. Okay. I guess I could do that. I really want to get a small one. Bob, I need your feature already done. No, I know you actually are mostly done with it. I wanted to reuse it to shrink down the size of our thing. All right, let's see how quickly I could create it. Package. Run these tests through crunch. That's gonna make me sad. Oh, cool. Okay, really? Okay, fine. Let's call this virtual symbol as virtual symbol. Okay. And we'll put directory ID equals virtual test folder. Name equals test folder. That should give us a virtual symbol called test folder. Now, should I go all the way through linking where I override it? No, I think I'll just do that for now. That will be enough just to get started. As virtual symbol. Come on, here we go. This is access modifier. I'm going to build that. Combine. Build single file. I don't need extra data. Yes, give me the intermediate folder based off that. There's my test. Make sure that it's successful. Then give me the PDB. And from the PDB, I do want the directory symbols, and then we will compare them. And I want to order by them, and I want to combine, select d.id.access mod access as string plus, and we will do another dot colon. Yeah, I think that at this point there. So basically I'm adding to this test, I want to dump the entire directory table and get my access modifiers included. So when I get this compiling and building, everything should be correct. All right, standard directory ID equals program files folder. We'll just use that guy. That's fine. And we'll put that there. Okay. Now we have standard directory and that, which means we're going to get targeter, source-dir. Targeter is going to be global. Program files folder will be in targeter. It will be global. And then we should get our test folder, virtual test folder. Parent will be program files folder, and the name will be test space folder. And we will probably have a short name too, but I don't think I'm gonna care about that. Yep, I'm not gonna care about the short name. All right, cool. Now, if I could only run this test. Let's see, will it work? No, it's not building anything right now. That's really unfortunate. That means I have to switch to Test Explorer, which I do not like anywhere near as well as nCrunch, because it's just so much harder to see, read, but it does do more normal things with the build. In other words, it just calls MS build to do things. So please find that. Thank you. Core test integration, access modifiers, run that symbol. run this test, please. This should fail because it's not going to compile because I don't have nearly enough to create a full MSI. But I'll build that up based off the error messages. Okay, so succeeded, built, and now our test ran. Failed that. Virtual symbol error. Package manufacturers not found. These are the things I expected. All right, thank you. Name equals as virtual symbol. I'll spell it properly. As virtual symbol. Manufacturer equals WiX full set. Upgrade code equals whatever we've been using for everything else. Who else here has an upgrade code? Yeah, a lot of you guys are just reusing. Oh, which button? Found the bundle. All right, let's see. So this will be interesting, Bob, when we get down, like how many of our tests can we shrink to being much more concise? And then I guess we're going to get into the other case of how much should we shrink them down. All right, okay, version. All right, I'll just take all that because that looks like the things that we've been doing for a while. Cool, that's all those parts. Let's see if we build this, run. I don't know, we'll see. All right, next thing that I forgot. Ooh, string differ, fantastic. Expected. Oh, I alphabetized them. Cool. That's nice. Our MSI build. It's a very tiny MSI. It doesn't have a whole lot of things in it, but that's fine. It's enough to get through. Access modifier fixture. I alphabetized them. So that goes down at the bottom. Run that test again. There are build errors. Oh, comma's wrong. No. No, do not go again. Just run. I'm sure there's a key command. Oh, Control RT. Fine. All right. Okay, we're green. That means we were able to build. Sorry. We went through the whole compiler with our virtual symbol right here. We built an MSI and ended up in the PDB. The result was that our test folder is marked virtual. So everything worked, all that flowed in. All right, so that's the most simple thing. Let's make it fail now. In typical red-green fashion, I'm trying to be a good little dev here. And first step is going to be can override virtual symbol. That's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so test for that will be override virtual symbol. Override virtual symbol. Override virtual symbol. Okay. So what do I want to do here? I want to say I'm going to put this in a separate fragment, I think, just for fun. Oh, I was like, why is nothing auto-completing? Because Heatwave is uninstalled. Oh, all right. That's why I'm not getting autocomplete. I was like, what's going on here? Okay. Actually, I'm not going to put them in separate. Do I want to put them in separate fragments? This is interesting. I'm not going to put them in separate fragments for now. Let's just keep them in the same fragment for now. That was strange. And I want to... This is so weird doing it this way. How do I want to do this? Standard directory ID equals, yeah, okay, I'll do the same one. All right, and then, okay, I know. All right, it's over now. Virtual test folder, and then we're gonna call this one overridden. Override? Override. Not overrid, because that would be the other one. Override test folder. And I'm gonna mark this as override. So what this should do right now is we'll fail because it's not going to be happy about any of that. I probably can clear. Can I just put virtual symbol and it will? Yeah, great. Thank you. Run that test too. All right. This test should fail because it's going to tell me that the symbol is duplicate. It did not. It did not. It did not fail. Why did it not fail? Why did it not fail? I have specified test folder, the standard directory twice, and I've given it the same name. Let's move this from the desktop folder to see if I can, if that makes a difference. Right. No, okay. What are we getting then? It says we're just getting these 3 symbols. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. That was silly. I'm not running the correct file name. Change the name of the test. I didn't change the name of the file here. Okay, there. Now, hopefully, this will fail. And it will tell me that, hey, you built this and this symbol is duplicated. If it doesn't fail, then we have big problems. All right, good. Output from the WiX runner says, error test. Yeah, duplicate symbol. Test folder was found. This typically means that the ID is duplicated. Access modifiers. Oh, we should fix that message. Cannot prevent these conflicts. Ensure all your identifiers of a given type, file, feature are unique. And then location of symbols related to previous errors. So 10 and 6. Lines 10 and 6. Line 6, line 10. Cool. Perfect. This is what I would expect. And this is now the test that we want to get passing. So in the end, the test should come back and say that it has override test folder and that the symbol was access type is override. Override test folder. So the virtual one will essentially be squashed because by being virtual, that one said, hey, I'm here. But if you find somebody else out there that wants to override me, that's fine. I don't mind. Do not create an error. And of course, the features missing is that we're creating an error. So this is good that we have a test. We can run them. I'm not getting them run automatically because nCrunch is busted. Well, because my build is busted. But at least we have this running. Okay. That is groovy. Yeah, you can see here's nCrunch saying, it says unable to restore required NuGet packages for .NET Core. And I'm like, oh my goodness. How busted is my machine right now that it can't restore NuGet. All right, not for tonight, for later. All right, so that means that we are through the data layer. We are through the compiler and we're into the linker. So I guess it's time to go to the linker. The linker is the thing that's spitting out this error message, or one of the, the linker at the high level is running as messages and hitting this. And if I had nCrunch, oh look, almost telling me it's working. Actually, is it saying somewhere? No. Just lying. It's just old data. It's like, hey, this dark green and nCrunch means these passed at one point in time, a long time ago, and it cached some data. All right, we're not using it. We're just going to use this one. So find entry section and load symbols. Yep. So this loads all the symbols from our world. This loads the standard symbols. We're going to come back to this. This is important because this code right here is some of the code that I think we can get rid of, this low standard symbols. If we're successful, I'm able to get rid of that function or the bulk of that function, and it changes to be much, much simpler. That's my hope. All right, resolve references. I think this is the one. Yeah, I think that's the one. Yep, that's the one, because we don't have to get complex references. It's just simple references. Let's go ahead and debug all the way down into here and see if that works. What is that command? Okay, whatever. All right, cool. I'm going to just step over it real quick. Or rather, I'm going to see messaging encountered error is false. That's good. I'm going to step over the execution and now encountered error. Oh, it's still false. All right, so I was wrong. That's not the problem. Cool. Flatten. Process complex. Still no error. Right, okay. Report conflicting symbols. Got it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is where it's going to fail because it's going to find the conflicts. Possible conflicts. Ooh, maybe this is as simple as that. Maybe this guy... Does this guy pick the winners? Let's see. Let's go look in here. Report dupes. Yeah. So one of the things that you probably didn't know is that when we added subdirectory, the feature subdirectory that can exist on some things like shortcuts, and actually, can directories have subdirectories? I forget. Components can have subdirectories. Anyway, the ability to say, hey, this component is in this ID and this set of subdirectories, and you just name like, you know, foo, whack bar, whack baz, or whatever you want. WiX will then generate all the directory symbols for you behind the scenes. So a really quick way, easy way of building a directory tree if you don't want to have to build each element out one by one. And it gets even cooler in WiX 5 when Bob gets some of his stuff in. It's going to be very, very cool. Anyway, so to do that, though, it's very easy for you to have a component with subdirectory foo bar baz, and then another, you know, shortcut that uses foo bar baz somewhere else. And that foo, and the bar are symbols that are getting generated for you. But because the compilers generate them, it needs to know, oh, these symbols are identical and they were generated. It's okay that they collide, and it throws away the collisions. Which is another reason why I knew that we kind of had this concept of override already in the mix. Now, that directory one generating symbol is a little bit different than just overriding, because it essentially allows duplicates, which normally is not allowed. But we are in places where I knew this feature was very, very close. All right. The other thing, possible conflicts, actions and WiX variables also allow you to override them. You can define override the WiX actions. And I'm actually hoping that WiX actions can be moved to purely virtual. And WiX variables have explicit override in them. So you see, we've had, this is the thing that got me. We had bits and pieces of this feature spread about, but for very special cases. I'm wondering now if we get rid of all the special cases. So this is the illegal duplicates. This is going to get our count, and the symbol that we're hitting here is this directory test folder. That's the symbol that's colliding. Is the directory test folder, and its ID is, yeah, it's virtual. Where's its access modifier? Oh, it's in the ID. Access modifier is virtual. The ID is test folder. And the possible conflicts, there's one, and that one is the the redundance. No, possible conflicts. One of these has got to be not virtual, right? It didn't collide with itself, did it? Yeah, there it is. Directory test folder. This is the one without the virtual on it. Okay, that's kind of hard to see, but there we go. All right. So reference sections of the duplicates contains reference duplicates. Possible conflicts. Yep. So did we actually reference? So this code here is basically saying, hey, do we have these two conflicts? You can actually have two symbols that are identical in sections that don't get referenced. So if somehow your code doesn't end up pulling, you have the same symbol in two different sections that get referenced by a different ID that causes that section then to get called in. As long as both sections don't get pulled in at the same time, you can have that same ID in those two different sections. That's another very important design feature that sometimes you get in that scenario and you want that. And that's why this is saying, hey, are these actually duplicates? Did they actually end up in there? And we said, yes, they did. So what I'm seeing here though is that, yes, okay, we do. And then this is where that error message comes from, which I need to go fix the error message as well, because it's bad. It should have been fixed in WiX 4 because it still refers to the old names of internal and protected and private and all that. But the problem I'm seeing here that I was hoping, or well, I wasn't sure. One was that maybe this would resolve the conflicts here, so it could pick the winner. It could basically say, hey, I found this conflict. Here's the winner of the conflict. You can keep going. AKA, one of these is override and one of these virtual. The virtual one gets thrown away. But no, that's not what's happening. This is This is not picking winners. This is just spitting out errors, which means that I think we need to go back up the call stack to the linker. Where was I? Here. And this is reporting, which means we need to make sure that virtual and override don't collide before, or I have to change the report conflicting symbols commands to pick a winner. And I don't know which way I want to solve this problem yet, but it's going to be one of those things. So it's either going to be changing this command or changing this command where we resolve the references. And I have to pick which way I want to do it. So thinking about the sections, if you have an override symbol, it seems like that should stomp on the virtual and completely hide the virtual. I think that's the right thing to do, because what we don't want is, so for example, if you have, I really should be able to draw. Can I draw? Why not? Let's see if I can draw something here. I haven't tried doing that in the full 90, but let's see if I can do so. It's bigger. Okay, cool. There's a new paint.net coming, or a new paint coming, and it's gonna have like layers. I'm like, oh, that sounds wonderful. All right, so what can I draw? Let me think about what I'm doing here. Image. I want. You can tell how often I use this. Square. There we go. Black and white. Okay, great. So if I have a section and a section, you can think of this as like the fragment tag and another fragment tag. And then I have my override symbol. I don't want to move it, please. I just want to draw. In here. Sorry, that my virtual symbol in here. And then I have my override symbol here. And then I have my main symbol here. So let's say this is your product and we want to refer to the directory ID. So this guy has a reference to that ID. And because this one overrides that one, technically speaking, the linker will say, oh, the ID is here and the ID is here. I guess I can give them names, right? Can I touch type? Okay, let's see. ID 1. Make that black. Can I change it afterwards? No? All right, fine, that's fine. Oh, I can't change it right now. Okay, fine. ID 1. All right, so they have the same ID, ID 1, ID 1. When this creates a reference, it just says, hey, I want ID 1. It's not really an arrow. But then when the linker runs, it's like, all right, I found ID 1 in 2 different sections. You want one of these. I think with one of them is override and one is virtual, this one should win and this section should be ignored completely for the purposes of pulling thing in. I think that's the right thing to do. So if you override, you don't get anything from that section at all. So this section does not come into play. And that's important because there could be like a whole bunch of virtual symbols or whatever mixed up over here. And if you override, you stomp over the ID, then this section should just be ignored completely, which means that I think we do want to handle it in the executes. Let's do this again. Stop debugging. Recursively resolve references. Right. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at all of the references and pull them out and then go again. This is resolving references. It might even be later than I want it yet. What if it's actually, I want it in the load symbols? So in the load symbols, that would be the place where I could say, hey, these two are the same. Oh, wait, ooh, I like that idea. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay, yes, there's our possible conflicts. Okay, this is where I want to do it. During the loading of all symbols, if I hit 2 symbols that are the same ID, the same type, same ID, and one is virtual and one is override, then throw the virtual away and keep going. I think that's the algorithm. I think that's the extent of it. If you have multiple symbols and one is virtual and the other one is override, then throw away the virtual completely and keep going, which means you can have multiple overrides stick around, because if it's override, it stays, and another override stays. Then later on, when we hit the possible conflicts, they'll be collided. So if you have two things that are both marked override, well, they're going to collide with each other, which is the right thing to happen. All right, I think that's pretty straightforward. So let's see who populates possible conflicts. Add here, okay. Yep, and here is the, duplicate symbols. Is this where override will actually handle? No, overrideable actions are handled differently because, well, they're handled specially, and I'm gonna have to go dig in and see how we deal with that one. I want to come back to that because I don't remember exactly. I know they're special. It's no, actually, I think they're handled in the load standard symbols. Let's just look real quick. Load standard symbols, standard action. No, okay, this is it. Load standard symbols does it. So the way it works is it's like the standard symbols, all the overrideable actions are not present to start with. You load all your symbols, and then we go and add the standard symbols after the fact. But then it also does a thing like, hey, if the symbols already contains a ski, skip it, or if it doesn't, add it. But that's the thing. So, and it does the special handling for standard actions and standard directories. Ta-da! My hope is that this goes away here shortly, and all of these guys are just virtual, and everything just works. We're gonna see. That's the farther reach. I want to get this test working first at the simplest, and then we'll come back and look at the standard symbols. Because if that works, that's how I get myself to then the standard WiX lib. Okay, so remember I mentioned the whole handling of directories being very special and that we allowed them to be overridden? That's what all of this code is doing. Is that if the directory is deemed redundant, aka it was defined exactly the same, which is what happens when you have like a subdirectory, that's the most possible case here. The redundant symbols then are carried around but ignored everywhere. All right, so if these symbols are identical, then you don't have to do that. Okay, so I think I will keep that first. That's fine. So this is duplicate. Okay, this is duplicate. So should virtual symbols be declared redundant or not? I don't remember how far redundant symbols end up going. Please, the colors of this? Yes. If the symbol was declared redundant, then we skip it here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so if we found a redundant symbol, don't add it at all. Okay. All right. Let's try making them redundant because that sounds right. I like the idea of that. So I said I was going to do the directory first, but maybe I'm not. Let's do, okay, okay, which way do I want to do this? If the access modifier, all right, why are we still writing these in Yoda form? Whatever. I'll keep it for now. If the existing symbol is virtual, so we know they collide by type and ID. That's what this check is doing. If they don't, then we get to keep the symbol. Otherwise, it's a duplicate symbol. The ID is the same. A collision has happened. So if the existing symbol is if the existing symbol is virtual, does it matter which one's virtual? It doesn't. It only matters that one is virtual and one is being overridden. Yeah, so if that, all right, I guess it doesn't matter. I want to almost like XOR it, but I don't think that I can. I think I need both. Let's see. This feels all right. My brain's not optimizing out the gate, so we're gonna write it. We're gonna brute force it first. Access modifier override equals new symbol dot access existing symbol dot access symbol. That's the existing symbol. I'm looking at the current symbol dot ID dot access. There we go. Symbol with section. Oh, that's why. Okay. Or the other way around. Oh, okay. No. So if the existing symbol. Okay, so if the existing symbol is virtual, let's just write this one. Okay. If the existing symbol is virtual and the new symbol is override, then we want to say that the existing symbol is I need to get the existing symbol out. So I need to take it out of the symbols by name. I just need to replace the symbol in it. Okay, that's fine. I think I can do that. So symbols by name. Symbols with section. All right, that's what I want. Symbol with section. Symbol with section. All right, there we go. Access. Symbol with section is just a little helper that holds on to the symbol and name, and provides direct access to that. Okay, yeah, and it holds on to the section it came from. Perfect. All right, that's what I want. Okay. So new symbol section is overriding the existing symbol, and the existing symbol was virtual. Then we want to make the existing symbol redundant. So I wanted a symbol with section, add redundant existing symbol. There's that. Redundant symbols, the existing symbol, dot symbol. Yeah, there's actually symbol with section, right? Yeah, okay. I want to change that right now. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm making the existing symbol redundant. I'm putting it in redundant section, and then I'm going to override its position here with the symbol with section. That way. So this is if we find the existing symbol in the world, and the new one that we just read, that we just processed, is override, then mark the existing symbol redundant, and then shove the other one. All right. Otherwise, if it's the opposite, and this is why I was trying to optimize this query somehow. But now if this is override and our new one is virtual, then this one's easier. That's more this case. Yeah, this case is easier. In that case, the existing symbol is the one marked override. The virtual one is marked and the new symbol we're looking at is virtual. Then to the existing symbol, add the redundant, and then to the redundant symbols, remember that the virtual one is redundant. Okay. So now here's a question. Should we warn if you have an override symbol, if you mark something override but there's nothing virtual? I don't think we should error. Or should we error? I don't know. Guess we could do either. I don't know. That's interesting. Okay. Either way, that's something to think about, to process. All right. So to do, should override. That's this case here. No, it's actually should override symbols that don't end up overriding a virtual symbol generate warning error. Yeah, it's an error in C#. Yeah, I wonder. Okay, I want to see this test. No, sorry, I have to use test explorer. Makes me sad. I want to debug this test. Hopefully I get here, and hopefully we see one of these paths get hit for our directory handling, for our directory symbols. Boom. Yes, please. Do that. All right, here we are. First symbol. This symbol is directory test folder. Great. So this is the not override one. So there's no existing symbol. Oh wait, there is an existing. Wait, did I miss? Oh, of course. Of course. We only hit this case if we hit a collision. So the symbols by name has already processed two things. Properties all users, which is added for us automatically, and directory test folder. Got it. So they're already with directory test folder because we have a collision. And this one was virtual. And the one we're looking at now is also virtual. Wait, what? Oh, that's another case then. If they're both virtual, if you have multiple things that are virtual, that's probably an error, right? You can't have multiples of the same symbol be virtual. Or can you? I guess I don't have to do anything special. They're just going to collide. It's just weird. All right, let's see. Yeah, so why are they both virtual? What line number are you from? Source line. You're from line 10. Okay. Existing symbol. What line are you from? You're from line 6. Why are you virtual? Oh, you're override. Okay. All right. Now I'm confused. Access. That. Okay. I'm missing something. All right. The directory symbol. This one is from 6. And its ID is virtual. Okay. I have to go look at the code. Override virtual symbol. 6 is override, not. It is not. Okay. Now you've confused me. Did we duplicate the symbols somewhere? This says the name is. Okay, the name here says override test folder. But it's access modifier, but its ID access modifier is virtual. Oh. Alright, we have a bug somewhere then. That's bad. That should not. That's really bad. Alright. How do we get to there? Parse directory element. Let's see what symbols are being created. So in parse directory. So we're going back to the compiler now. Because what I said before was that with my test, I'm like, hey, the compiler works perfectly. But what I just saw is not correct. All right, let's put a breakpoint here. And let's debug here. Our ID is virtual test folder. And our source line number is 6. Wrong. Wrong. I have a bug somewhere. I did something dumb. I bet in the parse helper. Yep, something dumb. That was easy. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. That I was like, they're both virtual. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, let's not trust myself. We'll do this again. So. Where were you guys in chat watching what I was typing? No, joking. Okay. All right, so this ID should now be override because line 6 is override test folder. There we go. And then we run again. I hit F5. I go again. Now I hit the virtual one on line 10. There we go. I don't need a spray point now. Go. Boom. Yay. Let's go into our find and load symbols. And we have our first collision. The existing symbol is override. The symbol that we're adding is virtual, which makes sense because the symbols happen to, I mean, it parses the file from top down. It's not going to randomly jump around, so it got the override first and the virtual second. So great. So that means that the override symbol was tossed in our collection, and now the virtual one is found. That's not this case, that is this case. Override virtual. So our existing symbol is the override one. Yep. And we're going to add this new one that's virtual as redundant, and it's just redundant. and it's thrown away. And we leave, and we resolve, and we report duplicates. So let's go look at this real quick. Are there any duplicates? No, there's no duplicates. There's a redundant one. The virtual got marked redundant, but there are no duplicates, and we passed. The test passed. Virtual symbols. Okay, so we need to polish a few things and verify a little bit more, but that is correct. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. All right, I want to add another test. Override virtual symbol, and this is, I want to do the other way. Virtual symbol overridden. Are there two D's in overridden? Looks weird if I don't. How do you spell overridden? Is that how you spell it? That just looks weird. Virtual symbol overridden. Oh, I put it wrong. Overridden. That's got to be the correct one. There's no way it's not two D's. Check your override def in the compiler. Which one, Bert? You gotta be a little more specific, because now you've got me paranoid, because I've definitely been making mistakes. Which one? All right. So what am I doing here? I'm flipping the order. So now I'll define the virtual symbol first, and I'll get the override test folder next. And then the next test I want to add while I'm here, override without virtual symbol. Override without virtual symbol. That's easy to do. We need to decide what we do with this case. I add it. And what was the last case? Double virtual symbols? Do I need double override symbols? I don't think. Although, yeah, let's do that. Duplicated override this virtual symbol. Man, all these different permutations of things is kind of interesting. What am I doing here? I'm going to do that and override test folder, collision override test folder. All right. So, like, for example, in this case, I think this case is interesting because I want to see that there are two collisions between line 14 and line 6, but no collision with line 10, because line 10 should have been pulled out completely. So that does that. Has a virtual symbol. This is fine. Virtual symbol by itself is fine. Override virtual symbol. That's great. Override without virtual symbol. This should be an error case. And virtual symbol override test folder. All right, cool. Great. I want to turn this into a helper function. Let's see here. What am I doing? List directory. Build for directory. Build. Get directory symbols. Some of these won't give me success. All right, that's fine. For the ones that do, I can do this. Okay. Equals build to get directory symbols, and then I want to pass in params string array pass. test source files. There we go. Oh, really? You're not gonna let it do that, huh? That's interesting, I guess. What's your problem? This or me? Oh, static. Oh. You can be static. All right, cool. Oh, I can. There's an app there. This can do that too, right? Get paths. Why? Where's folder used? Folder used there. All right. Okay, good. I fixed it. You know what? I'm gonna do this because that makes more sense. That makes it easier. I swear this is gonna be helpful in the end. Okay. Oh, that's the folder. But why do I care about the folder at all? I don't. Okay. All right. Okay, this will be good. This will be better. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, I miss uncrunch. Just wanted to run my test for me. Oh well. Okay. Yay. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. And then this one, I want this for as virtual symbol. There we go. Okay. Funky formatting. Okay, cool. Can compile override virtual symbol. I want the other one. Can compile virtual symbol overridden. Over virtual symbol overridden. I want to change the string so that I know when it works. Let's see. Without virtual. That way, when I see these names of these test folders, I will be like, oh yeah, that one. All right. Test folder. Overrode virtual. Why is English is so goofy? Overrode only has one D. Overridden has two. Whatever. Okay. Okay. Now some of my tests are going to start failing because I changed the names of some of these things. All right. Virtual symbol overridden. Virtual symbol overridden has this string that I'm expecting to get back as the result. Good. Override virtual symbol has override test folder. That's override test folder. Good. And then has virtual symbol is simple test folder. Great. Cool. Let's go ahead and run all three of those tests to make sure that they're working. And then we're going to go put in the error tests. Please go green. Yay. Okay, that was good. Cool. Okay, so now let's go to the error test. I can't use this the same. Can I? Ooh, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, cool. Got it. All right, in fact, go here. What am I saying? Cannot compile override without symbol. Cannot compile override without symbol. And what's the other one? Duplicated. Oh, okay, yep. Cannot compile. Duplicated override. Okay. That means I want this part here now broken out. Hard with the file system there, isn't it? All right, I'll just duplicate it. I must build result, run a result. Build to failure. Okay, params build for failure. Result, return result. Great. So this result, as I'm expecting, is to go back. Oh, WiX runner. Sorry. WiX runner. Result. And I should be able to get this back, and then I can look at the error message, and we can then check for a very specific error message inside of it. So cannot compile override without result, without symbol. Var result equals build for failure. Test data, access modifier. And this is cannot compile override without symbol. Cannot compile. False. Virtual symbol, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. Cool. And this I want the same but different. Cannot compile. Duplicated override virtual symbol. Great. Great. Okay, now here, let me see. Errors equals result dot messages dot where. Yep. M dot type. M dot level. Yes. Level equals message error. Select M dot toString to get it all formatted for us. Dot to array. Great. Excuse me. Let's see. Get a water. You know what? Nah. WiX compare line by line by line. Errors. There. There we go. Now, clearly we need to get a good error message in here so that the right things happen. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's see. Why do I not have... All right, run. I'm missing one. Why do you not have... Which one are we missing? Where's my other cannot compile? Yeah, values differ, right? Expected a blank line, got no errors, and then eventually that blank line will be the wrong error. Why do I not have... What am I missing? Build project. Why are you not finding this one? Cannot compile duplicate overwrite. What am I missing? Oh, it has to have the word virtual. Cannot compile duplicate overwrite. Yeah, how about just access modifier? There it is. Okay. My bad. My filter was getting rid of it. Okay. And that should error saying that nobody's. Oh, look. The duplicate symbol worked. Yes. Let's see. What is this error message? Right. Because the two things overrode. Right. Oh, but we only got one. And then the other is an error. Let's run that again. Oh, it stopped the first error. This could be a second error, right? Yeah, missing one line. Location, symbol, related to previous error. Got it. Cool. That's my two error messages. That is correct, but I want line numbers. I thought toString would give me line numbers. M dot source line numbers dot line number. Let's do, all right, let's format this. no, not that one. That one. There we go. There. Now we have. We'll do. How about we do ln line number, then the M2 string. Yes. Oh, and then I don't need the 2 string. Oh, I do like that. Okay, that's good. And then I need to close the quote. Cool. 296. Cannot. Oh, duplicate. Okay, good. Run. So I want to see the line numbers in here so that I can make sure that I have the correct spots for each of the error message. Line 14. That sounds familiar. This is the duplicated override symbols. Line 14. Yep, that's one of them. And then I'm going to say the other one should be line 6. Line 6. Line 6. Run. Should be green now. Green, green, green. Yeah, perfect. Not perfect because this error message is bad. We'll fix the error message and then that will be that. That's good. So the important thing that this test is checking is that it's 14 and 6. Boom and boom. Sorry. 14 and 6, obviously, those are collisions. The important thing is that 10 is not present. The virtual symbol got completely erased from the world. Oh, I need to do this. Override virtual symbol in with fragments. Override virtual symbol with fragments. And to do that, I want to put each of these Whoa. What's going on here? Oh, close. There we go. All right, so now our override is in one folder and this is in another folder, and I'm going to do this directory ID equals what is this? This is also included. Name equals also included. And this is not included. Not included. And that's because we're going to come here and do a directory ref ID equals test folder. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. See, what this is going to do is going to go out, create a reference. This is the paint picture. This is it right here, the paint picture, where we have our product here referring to test folder. Test folder is defined in both this box over here and this box over here, these two separate fragments. And in this one, it's override, and it has another symbol called also included. And then this one is virtual, and it has another symbol in here, not included. And the end result should be that only these two sections and not that section gets carried in. Boom and boom. That should do it. This is a great test. I like this one. Let's go here, and I want can compile virtual symbol with fragments, and I need what's your name? Include another, okay. With fragments, okay. Test folder includes another, and then this is also included, and then alphabetical order. I think you're going to end up on the top, buddy. Parent folder is program files folder, and your name of yourself. Oh, come on, is also included. There we go. And because you are all capped, or because you're alphabetically A, G, and A come before all of that. Whew, okay. Okay, and compile. If this test passed first time, I'm gonna be really happy. Ah, did not pass. It's okay. I'm actually okay that I didn't pass. Oh. Okay. Oh, does that mean it did not get included? Oh, no. Nope. Never mind. Did it again. Run the wrong file. There we go. Let's try this again. Of course, it's not going to find also included. If I don't use the file that it defines the folder with also included. Okay, specified argument is out of range. Ooh. Valid primers access. That's cool. Ooh, I like this. What did we do here? Oh, accessible symbol. I missed some. Where is this? Oh, resolve references. Ah, right. Okay. Okay, right. So, access modifier. We said that virtual and override are both the same as global. That's right. So, this is the thing that this part of the code, resolve references, checks if a symbol is accessible. And this is where it checks to say, hey, if you're global, then you're always accessible. If you're in a library, then you're only accessible if you're in the same library. If you're file, only if you're the same file, and a section only if you're in the same section. That's what this accessible symbol did. And that actually is a very nice error message. And I'm very glad we wrote this test. Go. Again, that totally makes sense. So virtual, override, and global are all considered global. So there we go. Now we have another problem, just fine. The error message, error. Directory test folder referenced by this. The ID is duplicated. Okay. 9 and 16 with fragment. 9 and 16. Okay. Well, did not pass. So this test means that we have more work to do. I'm running out of time tonight. Man, didn't think it would take this long, but this is good. This is good. I feel like we're things will be solved. Like they can all be solved here. I want to run this one again. Yeah, let me see here. Okay. Oh, debug. Go over a little bit tonight. All right, find intersection. Go. All right, so we have a collision. The existing symbol is override. The existing symbol is on line 9. Okay, that is the override one. And the symbol that is virtual is on line 14, right? Oh, 16. 16? 16. Line 16. Right. Got bumped out a bit. Okay. Well, that's good. So they're redundant. Okay. Resolve references. Okay, maybe our problem is in here. Okay. Resolve sections. Okay. Symbolic name is, please, property manufacturer. Don't care about that. I only care about the directory ones right now. Our WiX simple reference is probably going to be yet another property. Lots of things in the beginning. Yeah, product language. All these things at the beginning around the product information. Property. Good grief. Property. Again? Breaker. All right. Each of these were broken out separately. All the property things are separate and put in separate symbols for patching, actually, believe it or not. All right, so for this name, symbolic name, dust folder, right. So we're gonna get a symbol. symbol is section, and this one should have redundance 1. The redundant should be the symbol from line 16. That's good. Okay, this is good. So is it accessible? It is, which is good. And so we add this section. Great. Do we have PowerShell command lit for it? I don't know what that means. Referencing section, right? And then redundant. Oh, the redundant. What are we doing here? We're checking if the redundant is available as well, and we added that symbol as well. I guess because they're the same. Yeah, okay. So, accessible symbol. The dupe. If the dupe is virtual, right? Let's see this. Yep, he's virtual. Okay. I think the saying here is, I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but access does not equal virtual. And it's accessible. So basically, if the redundant is virtual, then we get skipped over and we don't need to add it at all. Because what's happening is that this code here is found that these are redundant, right? It found that they're the same, but if they're both accessible, that's an error case that needs to be caught, which I hadn't thought of before. But in the case of virtual, it's been overridden, so we don't have to. All right, let's see. Now I bet if we run this test, we'll get farther along. Yep, that did it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to do here. Revisit if virtual, if redundant virtual symbols should be skipped. Like, so you have to provide more words. I don't understand what you're asking for there. All right, so that good. That got that one, and that leaves us cannot compile override without virtual symbol. This should have an error message, right? And this error message. Where's the other one that had the error message? All right. Okay, let's look at this here. Duplicate symbol, directory, test folder found. This typically means that an ID is duplicated. Access modifiers, and what should we do? Global, what was it? Library, file, section. Cannot prevent these conflicts. That's true. Ensure all your domains are given type, and then I'm going to put etc. are unique. There. I think that's what that error message should say. That's better. Of a given type. Like, I felt like this list being closed is not good. File, feature, file, component, feature, etc. I don't know if it's good to, I don't know if Bob's still there. If we should have 3, etc., or if I should just go like file, component, etc. I don't know. File, component, feature, etc. feels pretty reasonable. And then these are the access modifiers, global library file section. All right, cool. Now this test will fail. Let's run this again. I should now have 2 failing tests. One, I haven't got the error message for when you have an override on a symbol that's not overriding. And then this one is going to fail because I have not updated the error message. That's good. 2 is enough for this, etc. So should I do a file component or component feature, etc.? Any preference of those 3 in there? All right. I guess I could use directory, component, etc. I think directory is probably more common than file. Or file, file directory, component directory file, or directory file, etc. Maybe directory and file directory file, alphabetical order. Files before directories, directories before files. Yeah. Exactly. I had the same thought that component goes away, so probably not the one we should toss out there. And features go away, so those are probably not the ones that we should be putting in this list, etc. So okay, cool. The only problem is that these are the kind of the same space. People don't give IDs to registry keys usually, hardly ever. Okay. So cool. That's an error message. That'll get fixed in a bit. Now for this one. Back to should override symbols that don't end up generate error warning. Okay. So we now have a test saying that yes, there should be an error. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking about not using redundant to store virtual. I'm thinking it may be better. So these are possible complex redundant symbols. This then would be overridden virtuals. I'm thinking that might be a better way to do this, to be explicit that these were the virtual symbols that were overridden. Another collection, but I think it's the right way to do that. So the thing I'm thinking about is, do I need to return this collection or can I just error here? Because technically speaking, we have all the symbols at this point. So the question is, if I check here, if I check the error here, then I would be checking to say, if you had anywhere in your code base override X, then this would catch it and say, hey, and you didn't have a virtual X anywhere in the system. This would catch you now saying, hey, that symbol has override on it, but you're not overriding anything that we know about, an error, even if that section doesn't end up being included. And I think that's okay, because it's basically you have a syntax error, and we couldn't find that syntax error until now, because this is the point at which we finally could see the whole world. So now we know that we can see the whole world. We can see that you have a syntax error. So I don't think I have to return this collection. I just have to track it internally and then report on it. That is probably all that has to be done. Probably. Well, let's see. Yeah, I don't really want to make these redundant, because they're not redundant. They've been overridden. I guess I could store them here too. Hash set symbol section. How are you hashing? Where's your hash function? You're not hashing, it's just actual object type. Okay. I guess that's okay. Do I want the virtual symbol? It's kind of interesting for the symbol to know which one it overrode. Each okay. So a symbol with section will only have one virtual symbol that it overrode. That's true. A virtual symbol, on the other hand, could have many overrides. Is that true? Oh, that's it. No, I guess you could have multiple virtuals. That's an error case too. Either way, both of those is an error case. Okay. I like the idea of storing on here. Yeah, I want to remember don't know. That might be enough. Okay. Yeah, I think that's something. Okay. All right. I want to try to. I'll try to finish. Any virtual symbols with sections that were overridden by this. Okay. Really? That one let me turn that into an iron numeral? Oh, hash set. Okay, fine. Not too worried about the performance of that. Okay, so now I can do this. Add overridden. And I'm gonna go 30 minutes over at this point. Overridden. If symbol with section dot access does not equal virtual, throw new invalid operation. Cannot override non-virtual symbols. There. That should protect against stupidity. This should never happen. This is just if I do something dumb, that prevents it from doing that. Okay, now this is going to get rid of this to do over here too, because this bothered me. And I was worried about side effects of this. And now I can get rid of that because, all right, let's see. Got to get the order here right. Okay, so if the existing symbol is this, add overridden. Redundant symbols, doesn't get anything added to it. And we replace the symbol by name with this symbol with section. So the existing symbol is in the symbols. We'll replace it with the new one. Before that, we store that, hey, this existing symbol can override. All right, great. Now here, this is the same way, except add overridden, and then we don't have to do anything. All right. Yep. Now, at the end, Do I keep track of these? Probably. Hash set? No, just a list. List. No, not intermediate symbol. Symbol with section. And this is override symbols. Override symbols, override symbols. If symbol with section dot access equals access modifier override. Remember it, please, because then we're going to take this collection and we're going to go through it again at the end. Virtual symbol. For each. Come on. Symbol with section. Why are you so funky? There we go. There we go. Very close. All right. For each of these, if symbol with sections dot overridden is empty, any. Now I need an error message, and it's entirely too late for me to think of error messages, but that is the right thing to do. Resolve references. Do you write an error message? You must write error messages, right? Yeah, there we go. All right, error messages. Override symbol. Virtual symbol not found for override. I don't know. Something like that. The symbol with section, symbol source line numbers. Symbol with section dot name. What's name? Name is ID, right? Oh, name, yeah. Yeah, okay, yep, that's good. Something like that. Right? That makes sense? I don't think this needs to be a global one. Linker error, is there a linker error messages already? No. I'm pretty sure there's a compiler error messages. Core. Linker errors. Just don't messages. Linker errors. Virtual symbol not found for override. All right, great. All right. This is good. This is good. Now, if only I had good words. But this is Spike, so I don't have to have good words yet. But we'll be very close. Yes. This is good. This is good. Virtual symbol. All right. Did not find virtual symbol. I have to go with better words here. Symbol for override symbol with ID colon. Go put this in the error message and the test that's failing real quick. I would write that line number, please. I like line number just to help out a little bit. With ID, and the ID is directory test folder. Whew. All right, let's see. Did that get me close? Oh, I didn't want to debug. Oh, well, it's fine. Boom. F5, F5, all the way to the end. Oh, did not match the string. Oh, I didn't get the line number right. Didn't get the line number right. But that's okay. I didn't get a line number at all. LN said 5. Is that right? Which test is this? Override without virtual symbols. Override without virtual symbols. Line 5. Line 5, line 5. Run that test. Run. Boom. Boom. All right, there's my spike. I'm gonna stop there. 11:30. Get up in 5 hours. Go to the gym. This works. The next step is to build with this a little bit farther and try to create a standard lib, which will basically remove that standard directory, this line, this load standard symbols. Remove this. Make all the symbols that would come in this way virtual. Have them sitting off in a whole bunch of sections, probably in a library, like the WiX standard library. Basically a library that we load up every time, shove in here, and say, here's a whole bunch of virtual symbols. If you need them, they're ready for you. If you override them, you don't get them, and boom, we're done. That seems awfully close to correct. That seems awfully close to correct. All right, that's where we're gonna leave it off. I think we proved virtual symbols work. Had a couple blips and bops along the way. Have a little bit of code to clean up from here, but yeah, I think this is real, and I am very confident that we can now push a whole bunch of symbols that are built in to be standard, to be virtual, and then let users override them. All right. You guys have a good one. Keep coding. You know I am. Bye. Which button turns it off? I forgot how to turn this off. Anyway, thanks for joining me. We will be back. I don't know. I'll be back doing the JoJo soon. Later.